Any special emotions that it's the last pre-classic here at Hayward?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't really think about it until doing my pre-meet this morning on Hayward, like on the track. I'm very happy and honored that I have the chance to be one of the last athletes to compete here, especially at the last pre-classic that's going to be held like in this stadium. It's special. You think 400 sub fours here, or it will be 400 sub fours here. You think of all the athletes that have competed here, and it's cool to be a part of that. But I think a lot of athletes are also excited for not excited for the next chapter, but excited to be a part of the next chapter. It's cool to be on both sides of that construction, for sure.
What's your favorite race that you've run in?
2012 trials. Just kind of going back to the beginning, it was the event. Steeple was still so new to me. It's just a really cool experience. One, obviously becoming an Olympian for the first time, like realizing a lifetime goal, but also doing it in an event that was still so new to me. I had a lot of questions of how the race was going to go. Like I knew that I had run pretty well the first two races, but I still didn't really know how to run the event, and I wasn't sure that I was going to make the team. So winning and making the team was like the big kind of stamp that I had to put on the event to really know that I was going to stick with it.
Yeah. So I'm sure sub 8 is a goal of yours at some point this summer.
Yeah.
How do you feel your fitness is at right now? How close do you think you can get tomorrow?
I feel pretty good right now. I feel like my fitness is pretty good. I really have no clue. Running the first race of the year there's always a lot of unknown. I think the rabbits are supposed to go at 8:08 pace tomorrow. That's what I've heard, and I feel like my fitness is there to be able to handle that. But until you run that first race, you kind of don't really know. I've done some training at 7,000 feet over barriers, and I ran everything in that 64 to 66 range. So it's 8 flat to 8:15 pace. So at 7,000 feet. So I feel like I'm probably somewhere in that 8 flat to 8:08 range, I would guess.
Now, obviously, Concessless, when he's been healthy the last couple of years, is kind of been the guy.
Yeah, for sure.
I know that's a gap you want to close. Is there anything you've done specifically to work on closing that gap to him, or any new approach that you think might work?
The only thing I did different this year was I upped my mileage. When I started steepling all the way up until last year, I'd been running so well that I just kept my mileage the same, 85 to 90 for most of the year. And this winter and fall and early spring, I was doing 95 to 100 miles a week, just off year, trying something new, seeing how my body responded to it, and I've been feeling really good doing the mileage. My body responded really well to it. Still feel pretty strong. I don't think I've lost much speed, if any speed, and that's the big goal is just getting more aerobic to where running faster just feels easier. So that's the big thing, and then like I was saying earlier, I just want to work on just not being the guy to push from a mile out in races this year. So things happen to go slow and guys don't want to push the last 3 laps. I'm not gonna feel responsible for making sure the race is going fast, and I want to focus on my own race and kind of just run free and relaxed.
I know you guys at Bowman, you always zero in on those championship meets, but this year there's none really at the end of the season. I guess Diamond League Final for Canada.
Yeah, Continental Cup.
Do you plan on running all of the Diamond League steeples this year?
No, not all of them. I think we're focusing on Pre and Monaco for sure. And I think Rome is next week.
Yeah.
So, and do they have a steeple?
No, it's Rabat on July 11th, then Monaco, then Birmingham August 18th.
Okay.
Zurich.
August 18th. So Rabat, I think, is. I would rather put all my chips into the Monaco race than Rabat because Monaco has treated me really well over the years. I love that track. I usually run really well there. And I think it's an insanely fast track. And so I wouldn't want to go to Rabat and try to squeeze 2 high quality races in 9 days. It's just not, we never do that. So I just don't want to try that this year with such a big goal on the line.
Yeah.
So I think we just picked Monaco over Rabat, and then I think with the break, we're just gonna kind of see how things go after Monaco. It's like Monaco, and then there's nothing else for 6 weeks, and then so we'll go back to the drawing board after Monaco and see how things are shaping out. Might just do the final, might do Birmingham and the final and Continental Cup. So if like they select me, so.
And I mean, Jerry's very selective in the way he lets you guys race. Do you like that? Do you ever find yourself wishing like maybe I would race more, or do you like his approach?
I used to want to race more, but I've also always just trusted Jerry. So when I started running, there was part of me that like wanted to do like a 15 just because it would be fun. Like I was like, it'd be fun. It'd be so much fun to go there. And Jerry's like, no, like we really want to focus on these races. And I was just like, okay, like I don't know what I'm doing. Like you know what you're doing, so I'm just gonna trust you and listen to you and let you like dictate my races. And I think you can do it both ways. Like lots of people, there's other people that race well at a lot of meets, and there's also people that race really well at a small number of meets. I feel like in our training system, it wouldn't work to race every weekend all summer.
Why?
We're so strength based that you'd be either training through all these races or tapering all the time, and Jerry doesn't let us just crush speed in order to like stay tapered and fit over like a long period of time. If we were to race every weekend or every other weekend, we would just be missing the necessary pieces of training to keeping us fit for that extended period of time. I think.
So you sort of hit the hard stuff, like if you're going for a fast time, you hit the hard stuff like right before it, is what you're saying?
So what we do is like say I race once a month, we would be supplementing those race scenarios with like race specific workouts.
Yeah.
So we'd get like a race simulation, like a race effort within a workout in between the races, and then you hit everything else sprinkled in around the race and the race effort workout, and that just allows us to keep our mileage up, stay consistent with training. I just feel like when I taper for races, if I taper for a long time for races, I feel off. I just feel better. I think possibly just being in the system for so long, I'm mentally and physically trained to just be ready to go like every 2 weeks. And I feel like that's allowed me to be really consistent racing over the years. I feel like, knock on wood, I haven't had too many like really bad races in my career, and I feel like I'm always up there running close to my best most races. So I think I would definitely take that over racing more and having a really crappy race and then a really good race and then 2 really crappy races, and just kind of not knowing why that was happening, and just kind of being a little more structured, I think, allows you to hit the big ones really big when you want to.
In your career, have you done any mental training stuff or sports psychology stuff? If so, what?
No. Thanks. Not with anyone.
Just on your.
Yeah, just on my own.
Like what?
Just thinking about different things in different years, like in 2012, like. So I mean, the beginning of my career was only about like getting fitter and staying with the other guys on my team. So like all I had to focus on was hang on to these guys as long as possible, and you're going to get a little bit fitter. And same thing in races. My first couple of years steepling, I wasn't good enough to hang back or like dictate my own race and be top 3. I just had to hang on as long as possible and hope I could close well the last lap, and that's how I was going to run well. Now I'm fit enough to where like I don't have to worry about like, okay, you got to hang on. It's just kind of part of the race where you're just in it, and your fitness is good enough to where you don't really have to think about hanging on. You're just staying up in the front.
So when you are in the last lap or the last couple of laps, do you pull up anything isolated to make yourself go through that pain period?
Yeah, so that's kind of like, that's where I'm at right now, is trying to figure out that last lap. I feel like I spent so much time just grinding the early part of the race that one, I didn't have to worry about it, or like I wasn't fit enough to worry about that. Now I feel like I've gotten to the point where 2016, 2017 was a different scenario where I kind of had to resort back to that, like really push from 3-4 laps out to secure a medal. And now I'm to the point where I don't want to worry about that, and I'm going back to the final lap, and it's kind of just stuff that I like work on in training, and I figure out what works, what doesn't work, and realize that like my kicking as of late has been all about like forcing it, and I need to I need to like try to be a sprinter and stay fluid, relaxed, don't like I'm squeezing and trying to force it, and now I just like I'm working on getting to that last lap of the workout and just like being super loose, and so yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
Well, I'm a sports psychologist, so it's nice to meet you.
Awesome.
I live in Eugene.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, Cape Porter. Anyway, it was heaven to watch you in 2020.
Oh, thank you.
It was so wonderful.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Good luck tomorrow, and have fun.
Yeah, thank you.
I have one more question about moving up in distance. You mentioned.
Yeah.
How far are we talking? 5K, 10K, marathon, ultras?
So I feel like by the time I'm done with this steeple, I think I will have missed the 5K boat.
Sure.
It's just such a complete different level of intensity. I don't think I can go back to that. It would be really, really hard to do that. So in my mind, I know Jerry doesn't want to think beyond the steeple right now because he wants to keep my mind like in the steeple, but I definitely want to try the 10K. I know I'm more of a strength runner than a lot of my competitors. I think I handle all the strength work that we do pretty much just as good as anyone in the group, and I feel comfortable doing that strength work. So I definitely want to try the 10K, and this won't be until after 2021 probably. But want to try the 10K, and I do want to try the marathon. And that wouldn't be until like I was for sure like done with the track. Like when I can't hack it on the track anymore, I think I want to do the marathon. And I mean, I've just been doing Jerry's training for so long. I think it would just be a waste of my time to not do the marathon. So I think it would be fun. The last couple of years, I've really just started to love that grind, that long grind, and I feel like that brings out like the best of my competitive side when like you just start wearing on people and you can feel them getting tired, and I don't know how I would handle the marathon because it's just so unknown, but I definitely want to give it a try.
Cool. All right,
But Jerry's I bring that up every once in a while, and he's like, no, you're never going to do the marathon.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if he's just trying to keep me in the steeple on the track or if he actually thinks that. So we'll see.
I think you got a few good years in the steeple.
Yeah.
All right,
For
thank
sure.
you.
Yeah.